This episode is proudly supported by ArtsPay. As a hospitality owner, you know that when it comes to business, the right tools are everything, especially when it comes to payments. ArtsPay, based in Australia, is a payment solution built on a unique model. They give 50% of their profits back to the arts community. They provide world-class point-of-sale payments and support that make your operations run smoothly. But with every transaction, a portion of the fees helps build a permanent funding source for Australia's artists and cultural institutions. What's best is it costs less too. The result is a powerful way for your business to grow and become a force for good. You're not just taking payments, you're directly supporting the vibrant culture that makes our communities unique. ArtsPay believes that business should add up for everyone. For more information, go to artspay.com. ArtsPay, it pays to make the change.
I'm starting to feel a little bit proud of it. It's getting there, but overall I'm very happy with it. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a big job, but will I have it any other way? Nah.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. In the heart of Marrickville, a new culinary star is rising, honouring family heritage and traditional Greek flavours. Today, we are joined by Olympic Meats chef and owner Timothy Cassimatis to talk about his journey building a restaurant on a legacy of time, family, and place. Timothy, how are you?
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me.
It's great to get you on the show. You're kind of like the buzz of the town at the moment with the offering that you have. It seems like a very popular eatery. How are things going at Olympic Meats?
Oh man, I'm so glad you asked that. When I opened this place, I guess when I ran numbers, when I had intention, staffing, stock levels, and even just fitting the space, I genuinely thought we were just going to be some little hole in the wall in the inner west. We were going to build the business up slowly, and it was going to give us time to really focus on our products, fine tune them and refine them, kind of thing. But on the get go, destiny just gave me a positive slap in the face and goes, okay, you're open. And the crowds just came and they haven't stopped, mate. It's a good problem to have, but it forced us very, very quickly to just, I guess, sharpen up and be like, okay, this is where we're at. This is the par levels that we have to go with. This is the staff we need. Let's meet that expectation. And, I'm very proud of my team. I've got some amazing people working for me. And we've managed to do that so far. And we're just doing what we can at the moment just to keep the momentum going and to just do our best to deliver a good product and, tell a bit of a story, within that as well.
It's amazing. You sound sort of shocked and surprised of the success of it. What do you think it is about what you're doing there that sort of captured everyone's imagination?
First of all, I will talk about the space. It is a regular sized shop, but the thing is, our shop it's sideways. So it's like a regular 90 square meter, sit in restaurant kind of thing. But we have all these bifold doors that open up, so you get to see the entire restaurant from a side view. So it's really open and exposed. We're kind of outside, it's pretty big as well. So there's big space for people to hang out outside. And just the charcoal and the smoke, I think the minute people cop a whiff of that, their brain clicks a bit oh, hang on, what's going on here? And they slowly levitate towards the restaurant.
It's being busy is one thing, but how have you coped with sort of the numbers that you're doing, sort of managing staff, making sure that the quality is still there? Has it had its challenges?
Oh, mate, it's it has been very challenging. But we've like I said earlier, I got phenomenal staff that work with me who helped me execute that. I'm very lucky because a lot of the people who work with me, I have worked with them before and they understand the food, they know how it's got to taste kind of thing. So I'm really, really privileged in that sense. But also, man, just with this style, I guess, of food and what we're doing, it really especially with the barbecue, it does lend itself to kind of en masse cooking as well. So that's another point that sort of works in my favor. But look, man, yeah, just got a good team behind me, and just finger on the pulse. I'm pretty meticulous, man. Like, I'll go around and I taste everything like all the time. There's like, you can follow a recipe, but like, you have 30 people make something. Sometimes it does taste different, things like that. So I'm like the salt, acidity, and heat manager, I guess you could say, just to make sure everything, it's got to hit a certain bar, or like hit a certain note. And if it doesn't hit that note, then it's just doesn't have the balls that it needs to be sent out. So I just ensure that it does.
Greek cuisine has really been booming in the culinary landscape in Australia in the last sort of year or two. Why do you think that is? What is it about Greek cuisine and the boom that you're seeing?
Look, man, Italian food has definitely, yes, you could say, had its Renaissance period. Like it's, we've seen some fantastic chefs who have championed regional Italian food, doing like really niche things within that. And I think it's just Greece's time as well. But if I can say this, in the motherland herself, Greek food for the last sort of, dare I say, like 15, 20 plus years, it's been very sort of Michelin and sort of French influence. But in the last 5 or so years, we're seeing a lot of good Greek chefs who are really finding their feet and really finding their identity with the cuisine. And you're seeing a lot of chefs who are going back to the roots of what that food represents and what it really means. And I genuinely think it just might be like a carryover effect now, because people are looking at some of the top chefs over there in the good restaurants and they're like, oh, they're actually they're doing good Greek food, but like in a somewhat modern setting, keeping it authentic, keeping it traditional, but elevating it into 2025 and elevating it into the modern diner's palate kind of thing. So I think it is a bit of a carryover from the motherlands.
Tell us a little bit about Olympic Meats and your inspiration there and sort of what you're doing with the food.
Yeah, dude. So look, we're kind of in our own lane a little bit with what we do. We're no reservations. We're BYO. We're getting a liquor license soon. But honestly, man, all I'm trying to do here is really just represent the core of what Greek food is about. It's about being really hospitable. It's about hard work, and it's about doing everything from scratch. Because growing up, both my grandparents on both sides are Greek, and just spending time with my grandparents there as a child, they would they'd just be hand rolling bitters all day, or like just slowly cooking a lamb, or curing meats and doing there's some weird cured meats in Greek cooking, man. It's a really cool charcuterie stuff, but not to delve from that, but it's a very labor intensive cuisine. It's very simple, very, very simple cuisine, but it's very hands-on. And I'm just trying to channel that very hands-on, no shortcut, labor of love kind of concepts into Olympic Meats here. But as a business, we're at our core, we're like a psistaria, we're like a grill house, a barbecue house sort of thing, and a lot of Greek food, like when you go eat overseas, back in Greece, it's smacked on a plate and they just send it out like a silver tray or like a little white meze tray. And we try to do the same thing over here. On a little side note, it's very ironic because the way I tailored this restaurant, the way I tailored the food, I tried to make it the antithesis of, I guess, being Instagrammable food. Like, it's not pretty food. It's just hunks of meat on a plate with some onion and lemon, or like it's just a dip smacked on a plate with some mushrooms on top or a garnish. Barely a garnish, like a sauce on top. But we still get a lot of people posting photos of their food and stuff like that. But it's the great irony, right? Can't keep the people away. But Yeah, no, like also through Olympic meets, I'm also just trying to tell my story as well. Like, you know, because I grew up, when I say grew up, like my grandparents still live in Marrickville. So I did spend a bit of time here and I watched the suburb, you know, shift from like it was a bit of a Greek powerhouse suburb in the early 90s. And then like it had that Vietnamese shift into it. But I did get to witness that and see the sense of community, and see some of the, you know, like the old businesses that existed in that area, you know, and they're kind of like little time frames, little relics, you know, of when I say my childhood, I mean in the sense where like it really was a sense of community, like these I wasn't a post-war migrant, but my grandparents were, but like they had this real sense of belonging and like they knew everyone like around there and they all hung out. They'd have barbecues together. They'd have little panayiris, as my papa would say, at his house. You know, and I think that generation, I think that sort of ethos is lost. And I guess part of my mission here is to just try to keep their legacy alive, but to do it through my lens and obviously to do it in the setting of 2025 kind of thing.
Are there any sort of dishes on the menu that sort of hark back to your grandparents' recipes so that you can sort of tell us about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got two on the menu and there's the special, but I do that direct, like just the way my grandparents showed me how to do it. So obviously we've got spanakopita or Olympia, which translates to Olympia in English. So Olympia spanakopita. You know, growing up, we've given her spanakopita to a lot of people, and it's received pretty red hot feedback from a lot of people. So I think I was just very lucky with the yaya I inherited as a child to have a gun recipe for spanakopita. So we just do her spanakopita here the way she does it. Another thing we do is her ziples, and that is it's like a fried pastry. So it's a pastry that's got egg, ouzo, and milk in it, and it's so simple, man. We roll it wafer thin, we deep fry it, we roll it up into like a little coil, and then we soak that in like a sugar syrup. But over here we use because we give people gifts at the end of their meal, like a little candied fruit. So depending on the candied fruits that we've made that are in season, we'll soak the zipplers in that sugar syrup. So at the moment we've still got some of like the autumn/winter quince syrup that we're using with a bit of rose water in it. So that's a really nice dish. Now the other dish, the final dish that as a direct copy, I guess I won't even take any influence from them, is it's called pasto. Now, pasto, in a loosely term, it just means to salt something, to preserve something. So this dish gets pork forequarter, and we store it into like fist-sized pieces. We rock salt it for a couple of days, and then we simmer it really slowly in like a Greek rosé wine with lots of rosemary and lots of orange peel in there, just till it's tender and the bones fall out. And then it gets a spice drop of lots like allspice, ground cinnamon, ground fennel, aniseed, and all that. And then we hot smoke it till it gets a bark on it. And then we preserve it in oil until further use. Usually we don't cut into it till about a month or so. And this type of dish, where my grandparents are from, in like the southern sort of regions of Greece, this is a very it's a household item that a lot of like houses will have. You go over places and they'll literally, some of them, they'll have like a big barrel. Not now, but they'll have like little like tubs or something like that, and they'll just pull it out. They'll cut it for you and serve it with some olives and a toothpick, just as a little snack.
Yeah, well, I want to explore Olympic meets in detail in a little bit, but take us back to where you were young. You've talked about Marrickville a bit, but whereabouts did you grow up, and do you have some sort of more food yarns from when you were young that you could share?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty down the line, I think. But yeah, I grew up in the southern suburbs of Sydney, around Hurstville. So, I grew up in Blakehurst actually, so near Tom Ugley's Bridge. So not in the Shire, but like on the border. But I grew up around Hurstville, so like a lot of my childhood, you know, I had a lot of Asian friends as well. So like, not only did I grow up having having the lens of like great grandparents who are from two different parts of the world, two different parts of Greece who had very different cooking styles. But I, again, growing up with like a lot of Asian friends and not really being exposed to like much like Chinese food besides like baseline Cantonese food, I guess. I was very fortunate to have been able to, I guess, discover the beauties of Asian cuisine as well in depth as a young boy. But yeah, just backtracking to that as well. I started my apprenticeship about the age of 19. I did food. What do you call it? Food tech, hospitality in high school. I loved it, and I worked part time at Steerson's Steakhouse on Lime Street. Was it Lime Street? Yeah, or King Street Wharf. I can't remember. It's the one. Yeah, King Street Wharf. Yeah. So I worked there. From the age from 17, like whilst I was doing my HSC part time, and I finished my HSC, and I did a double degree of business management and economics. Family of accountants, it's like you kind of everyone. You go to a private school, it's like, oh, what are you doing? What uni are you going to? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. And man, I hated it so much. I used to go to my dad's office with my laptop, and I'd pretend that I was studying, but I had my earphones in. I was just playing games. I sucked pretty hard at it. And then I remember we went to Melbourne for a holiday with my parents, and I just remember we went to Rockpool Bar and Grill there, and because I'd worked at Stevenson, so like I had a bit of an insight as to how kitchens worked in like a steakhouse, and I just saw how fluid everyone was working at Rockpool, and just the aroma, the intensity, just the chaotic gracefulness that I was watching as a young 17-year-old lad. And I said to my parents that day, I said, hey guys, I don't think I want to pursue a career in finance or anything like that. I think I'd love to, give cooking a go. And they were very supportive, but they were just like to me, hey, you half-assed your university stuff. It's like, we'll support you doing this, but like, you gotta give it a go. You can't be a little piece of shit about it. I'm like, no, I'll pull my head down and fast track. Here I am. But no, I remember I did my apprenticeship at a little tucked in hole in the wall. I'll call it a models restaurant if you want. It was next to Paul's Hamburgers in Sylvania Waters. It was called Calavu. And that was I guess where I learned I got my drive, and like my passion sort of got ignited, my boss, Chris, I don't think he's really in the game anymore, but he was hot off the press at at Benelong at the time. So he really gave me some good nurturing and like some good inspiration about what path and what direction to take in hospitality. I mean, he was him and some of the other staff there, they were not like some of them, one other one, but they were pretty old school, in their approach. I do kind of feel grateful that I did get to experience some of that old hospitality pilled sort of owners and operators. The way I know in this set in like fast forward 2025, it's not really the way to manage kitchens anymore. And with that style, some people are receptive to it, and a lot of others aren't, but I was receptive to it. And so I am very grateful that I did enter at a time where it still existed, but it was on its way out. So I could, I guess, quote unquote, just get a little taste of it to see whether or not it made me or it broke me, kind of thing. To see whether or not I was wasting my time.
Yeah. Interesting perspective.
Like, there's many angles to like look at it, but look, it worked for me because it was like, hey, if this is how hard it's going to be, and how shit I'm going to get treated, and I don't like it, I will get up and leave. And sure, I had plenty of moments where I wanted to get up and leave, but I didn't, and I stuck it out. So again, not for everybody. I don't run my business like that. I'm very liberal. I'm very understanding. I like to nurture all my stuff. But I'm happy that I did cop it a little bit, because it did make, like I said, made me a little bit more resilient into sticking into this industry.
As you built your career from there, what's been the important sort of venues to you and people that have really stood out as you built your career?
Look, man, I've worked after, so it just I'm gonna like sidestep that question just for a moment because there's like a pretty important part of there's a very important part of the chapter that kind of influences where that goes. And so in 2010, so literally after I was a third year apprentice, I had a pretty gnarly car accident. I almost died. I was in a coma for a month. I got pretty like chat scars like all up and down my legs and stuff like that. So basically I woke up from the coma. I had no idea what the fuck was happening. I was just like, what? And yeah, no, people were just like, you're in a really bad car accident. They put you in an induced coma. You had to have 20 plus surgeries to save your life. And the first thing that I said to my parents was, can I go to work tomorrow? And they go, no. And I just said to them, I go, all right, 3 months from right now, I will walk back into work and I will work. I did. Wasn't the best idea. Because so I had skin grafts that hadn't healed. So I was walking around in the kitchen with raw skin, and one of the kitchen hands had like a full bin and he jumped on it and all this bin juice just went over my legs. So I copped a pretty bad infection after that. So I had to take another like 4 weeks off. But yeah, no, I was in a wheelchair for a bit. I was on crutches, had to do a lot of like physical rehab just to get back to it. But man, honestly, the thing that like kept me motivated and the thing that sort of frustrating, I was just like, I just want to be back in a kitchen. I just want to cook again. You know, that's all I could really think about. And because of that really impacted my career for the next, mate, you could even say 4 to 5 years, you know, because I'd apply for jobs at places and I'd work and I'd do really well and I'd be super proud of myself. Like, you know, being a junior chef, like, you know, going corp, like when I say corporate, like going to big city venues or things like that. But man, like after being on my feet for like even 5-6 hours, it literally felt like someone had gotten a metal baseball bat and just caned the shit out of my legs. And I'd go home and like my legs would be all swollen and the skin would break and it would leak. And then like because I was so conscientious about that, I wouldn't tell employers about it. Maybe I had like a bit of imposter syndrome. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm good. Let's go, fucking blah, blah. Don't worry about me. I'll smash it out. And then I crashed and burned quite a few times working at places. And I think that really, that was like a pretty big smack in the face because, you know, an industry and like a career that I was very passionate about. You know, I couldn't even stand up and just work a regular day, you know, and that really impacted me. And then I just, I tried focusing on myself a little bit and I did get better. And then I think, what year was it? 2015 or 16. I kind of said to myself, I was like, okay, well, maybe you can like, how do I say it? Maybe there are other avenues within chefing that you can do that might help you in your current situation. And so I took a job at Vic's Meat Market at the time because I enjoyed meat, I enjoyed barbecuing and all that stuff. And like I thought, well, I can still cook, but I can learn core fundamentals about butchery. I can learn about how like a business works and things like that. And I stayed there for about 3.5 years. And that was actually a turning point in my career that really kickstarted me, you know, as a young chef at the time, because I went on to work at other places and I had a specialty of like, I guess, meat knowledge and meat skills because I had worked for a wholesaler. I'd worked beside butchers and stuff like that. And, you know, they would tell me like how their businesses would operate. Or they're like, oh, you know, think about using X, Y, and Z for your meat instead of just getting the stock standard sirloin. Think about getting like dry aged racks or things like that, or like the way you look at sausages, the meat that you'd use for sausages, just everything, like just from a logistical and even a mechanical point of view, I learned quite a lot from there, and that really helped me. And I worked at the steak bar as well there, the little Wagyu bar, which I had a lot of fun with. So it allowed me to be myself, not chill myself over doing like 200 cover lunches at places, but still be able to be interactive, and learn. And then from there, I went on as sous chef at that Bazaar in Marrickville, and and I'd love to give a bit of a shout out to Daryl. He's been a very, very key player in helping me be the chef I am today, and he's been like a bit of or I could say like a bit of a mentor figure for me professionally. But no, I get same deal. I was there for about 3-4 years. I was very privileged because he expanded a few venues, so I became the head chef at Marrickville. But unfortunately, tragedy struck again where I had an issue with my legs and my skin, and the medication I was using just stopped working, and it actually my body started wigging out pretty hard, and so I couldn't even give him any notice. My whole body had turned red, and I was just scratching myself while I was ripping my skin off. It felt like I was a volcano inside. And I literally just had to say to him, I think this was like a week before or a few days before he booked a holiday to Thailand. And I just said, hey, I'm really sorry. I have to leave. Like I can't be here anymore. And then I just, I lay down. I lay flat on my back for the next 5-6 months, pretty much just trying to recover and recuperate from this second bout. But I'm very grateful for all the steps and all the all that, what do I say? The 2 steps forward and the 5-10 steps backwards that I've had on that journey, because it really has taught me a lot of resilience, and I guess just to never give up. Or you get close sometimes, but yeah.
It's an extraordinary amount of trauma and adversity that you've gone through. How do you cope with that? How did you get on top of that and push forward?
Look, I'm super blessed, man. I have the most amazing family behind me who've always supported me, who've always carried me, in anything. So I know not everyone grows up and they have the best relationships with their mothers, fathers, or siblings or anything like that, and that's something that I don't take for advantage for a second. But no, I'm very, very, very lucky to just have good family behind me. And I think as well, it's just throughout my career, of course I'll never name any names, but I've worked under some pretty nasty people who did some pretty nasty things to me. And I think that's always, not always, I think that's always sort of stayed at the back of my mind. And just in the back of my mind, I'm just like, as much as I'm doing this for myself, because that you do everything for yourself, but or your family, whatever. But part of me was like, I want to do this just to be able to say, screw you. I did this as well. And I guess it's just for me, it's just like, I didn't want to ever have that victim mentality and just sit down. I just thought, nah, stuff this, man. I'm just going to just push through it, just have a go, see where we land again. And I guess over the decade, just because I've crashed and burned so many times, I thought to myself, well, hey, if I open the restaurant, it doesn't work, so what? I had a go. At least when I'm on my deathbed, I could say, you know what, mate, you had a red hot go at it. No one can take that away from you.
When did the beginnings of Olympic Meats sort of first happen for you, and what was it like sort of finding a site and starting to build it?
Look, so since I guess day dot, I've always wanted to have my own space and champion my own sort of idea, but the whole looking for it started about 2 years prior. To us opening the doors. So about 2023, I started just popping my head in places and things like that. Having a look at spaces. I was unsuccessful with all of them. That's another thing, dealing with real estate agents. That was good, and I had no experience doing that. I didn't really know what I was doing at all. I just mouth off some random bullshit to them. Like, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. And like, oh yeah, no, don't think this is suitable for our venue, but good luck. Blah blah blah. And I was very lucky, like I told my dad, he's been like a bit of a financial mentor, like an advisor to me as well. Big shout out to him as well. But he he said to me very bluntly when I started my journey, he goes, "Do you have money to buy cheese and to open the front door at your restaurant right now?" And I said, "No, I don't." He goes, "Well, when you do, chat to me and we'll start looking at things again in detail." So I'm like, "Hey, fair enough, fair enough." So um, I opened a little catering business that I operated from the back of my parents' house for 4 years just to save up money uh, to open this restaurant. You know, yeah. No, and I got to practice the food that I wanted to do here because I've got loads of like rotisseries and barbecues at my place, my parents' place. And I got a Gosney oven there, so yeah, I just did catering. I just did like wood fired pita breads. I did whole lambs for people, like gordo souvli, pastries and side dishes, and that. People ordered it online. I just dropped it off hot to their house. Yeah, dude. So, so that was really critical those last 4 years that I ran that business. I guess helping me sort of solidify the identity and just the direction that the business wanted to go in. And I always said to myself as well, like, if the business doesn't work, I can always just fall back on the caterer because I built it up a little bit. Like, I had a bit of a small customer base, that kept me going. Uh, so that was, I guess, one part of it as well, because I did have that goodwill and that, I guess, sense of security if it didn't work. Um, but yeah, no, I was pretty specific. I needed a spot that was like in this area here. Because like an Olympic meets in like Surrey Hills or an Olympic meets in Double Bay, it just wouldn't have the grit. It just wouldn't have the balls. It just wouldn't it wouldn't be Olympic meet kind of thing. So it had to be in this area. I did look at a few places, and then I was talking to a business owner of self raised, and my mother's cousin, Huss, his name is, and I was telling him, I'm like, I'm just on my journey. I'm looking for a spot, whatever. I need charcoal extractors, this and that. And he was just like, I have a friend who does that. He just looks for like chicken shops or places with charcoal extractions and he just fits them out. And then that sort of struck a cog in my head and it changed my whole way of looking for something, because prior to that, I was just looking for empty slabs, like just empty slate restaurants for me to do, but it was pretty expensive to do that. And so I was really lucky. There was actually where I am now, this was up for lease, and there was a place across the road which both had like that charcoal extraction and it fit the concept. And so, man, I was stoked when I found those two places. So I had the choice of two places. I weighed up which was going to be the best option, and we just went with it. And like the builder, he was pretty rapid as well, man. I signed the lease in September. I was like, all right, can we do it before Christmas? He goes, look, bit hard, everyone's booked in, whatever, but he's like, February the latest. So signed the lease, demolished it, bit of a lag time over Christmas, but we managed to open our doors on the last week of February. So yeah, I was very fortunate in that because, I hear about other people waiting for this, waiting for that. I mean, sure, like I had that in the process, but man, there was no real major hiccups in getting the doors open, and we were able to do so. And yeah, it's everything else, the rest is history, I guess.
There's many people that work in food that have had dreams of opening their own place one day. What does it feel like for you with Olympic Meats? It's so representative of your family and heritage and you. How does it feel that it's open and running and really popular?
Um, you know, 80% of the time, I'm still pretty overwhelmed with it. I actually haven't fully processed that I've opened a restaurant and what it is and what's happening around me, because it's still pretty surreal. But I do have these little glimmers and little, like, I guess, fleeting thoughts where I'm just like, hey, I was able to do this, and tell our family story, and hit something close to home, and I'm starting to like feel a little bit proud of it. Not it's getting there, but no, I'm overall I'm very happy with it. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a big job, but would I have it any other way? Nah.
And what do your family think of what you've created?
Oh man, I think they're pretty over the moon as well. It's funny sometimes my yaya Olivia, when they don't drive anymore, but whenever my sister picks them up or my parents pick them up or something, they peruse past the shop. She likes to do a little inspection and just see. She's like, oh, who made the spanakopita? Was that you? Or something like that. She laughs. She thinks it's beautiful, and she's very happy about it as well. As I think any grandparent would be. But look, at the end of the day, man, I'm just trying to do them proud, just trying to make a living here, and just more importantly, just service the community, service the locals, and just make sure that they're not only like they're leaving full, they have a good experience, but I want them to sort of see a little glimmer of, I guess, old Marrickville, but also new Marrickville as well. That old Greek diaspora, but channeled in like a second generation sort of Australian lens and mindset as well.
Well, you've created something that's not only sort of your vision and a reflection of your heritage, but something that seems to resonate with so many people as well that are dining there so frequently. What do you love about what you do?
I love the chaos of it. I love the inconsistency of it. I love the reactiveness that you need to do what you do. I love that no day is ever the same, and that you just need to almost think to yourself, sometimes every day is just going to be a completely new and blank slate, and you just need to like be alert and be aware and be ready to just jump in the arena and just dance and just see how you go. Bit contrary to, I guess, that what some other chefs might say. They love the rigidity, they might love the structure, the organization, the clockwork of it. But I enjoy the contrary. I love because at the end of the day, man, like with this cuisine, the term is like spitiki or choriatiki. It's very spitiki means like home style, and choriatiki means like village style. And like back then, like the way that they measured things, the way they did things, I don't do this anymore. I'm pretty precise with my measurements for seasonings and stuff, but they had a term called metomati, and that just means with your eyes. My yaya does that with everything. She just measures everything with her eyes, and it turns out great. But to emanate that style of energy, just with your eyes, like, it's a sensory kind of thing. I love that, and that makes it like an immersive experience every day.
Well, Timothy, what an absolute honour to have you on Deep in the Weeds today, to hear just a part of your incredible story. Can't wait to see what you do next. Please keep in touch, and we'll catch up again soon.
Mate, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure as well, and nice to meet you, and stay warm.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast, or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Stay safe and be well.